Hello everyone, welcome to Sriram IAS on an academy platform. So myself Shiv Shankari, we are meeting again regarding our ethics course. Okay, so this will be the final course I hope, and in this class we are going to discuss about the case studies. Okay, yes. So we'll begin from the beginning. So today let me discuss list like 3 or 4 cases as the time permits. So we'll take forward. Yes. So now we'll see the case. Then we will start discussing the solution for it. Okay. So as you can note here, yes, see this particular case. First, let me read out the case. Then I will just give the answers for you. Okay. Just let me check like is there any problem reading the sounds, everything, so that it will be easy to. Yes, I have not received any message so far, so might be looking good. Fine. So now begin the first case. See this. You are an IAS officer posted as the chairman of the State Pollution Control Board. Recently, the SPCB, that is State Pollution Control Board, has ordered the closure of few factories and industries which are found to be contaminating the river nearby which are located. One day, one of the factory owner waited in your home to visit you. As he saw you returning from office, just asked him why he wants to see you. He greeted you with flowers and fruit basket and said that the local MLA is his relative and he has various other business too. Further, he asked you to grant some additional time to comply with rules for installing an effluent treatment plant, and he requests you to let the factory continue its operation till then. This is the main. Let us go complete the case. After hearing this, you said there is a proper procedure to be followed, whereby the technical details and rules to be taken care of, and asked him to give formal request at office and informed that future cannot encourage official meetings at home. But after the businessman left, you noticed that along with flower bouquet, he has an envelope filled with cash. So there are two questions in this. What type of conflict of interest you notice in the above case? Second question, what are the options before you and what would you do? Sometimes simple cases can also be asked in exams. Previous, that was the case. That was how the case studies appeared in your exams. Maybe 2 questions. Max they will ask 3 questions for a case study, or else even they may ask 1 question. What would you do at this situation? Simple. This also the questions comes. So how to be prepared in every angle, and this is one such case which I have made in a simple manner. I have brought a very simple case study, and I am going to discuss how we can answer this type of case. Okay, where you have to give option and you have to choose the options. That's it. So that kind of case studies. So come case again. As of the case, so here you cannot write a very elaborate answer, a big one. So first you have to know how to answer these kind of questions. So if first you have to start with the prime decision maker of the case. Like that you can fill the details first. The prime decision maker related to the case. Okay, that is you. You are an IAS officer mentioned like that. Okay, so you can write, and in the bracket you can write the IAS officer, right? So then you can mention the facts, or you can explain the situation, synopsis about the case. You can write like that. So the second thing which you can mention is synopsis about the case. Now what you can write, you have to write the important points here, like it in this case described as you are an IAS officer who was posted as the chairman of State Pollution Control Board. So you're responsible for taking important decisions related to the closures of factories, compliance with the laws, rules, regulations, all these things you'll be administering. So recently the SPCB has ordered the closure of few factories and industries which are found to be contaminating the river nearby which they are located. So you have to write that, so you're a part of SPC. SPCB recently come out with a closure of factories. And one of the factory owner visited you at home. As you saw, visited you at home, and he asked, what did he ask? He asked to grant some additional time to comply with the rules. Okay, so that means he's asking to open his factory, right? So that has to be written in the synopsis. And he requests, yeah, that's it, to open the factory, right? He also a relation of the local MLA, right? That you can mention. Then come to this. Yes. So you this is the case and you rejected. You asked him to come through formal proceedings, right? Not in the casual meet. Right, like that you have mentioned to him, right? After the businessman left, that also should be written as a statement. You noticed envelope with cash. That means he is trying to bribe you, okay? So that's a synopsis about this case. So you have written the facts, either facts or synopsis. In the statement wise, number 1, 2, 3, 4, you can write. Then come to the next stand, that who are the stakeholders of case, who are going to be a part of this case. Then in that case, you can write the factory owner, one who has come and approached you. So he is the one who is going to influence your decisions. So that way you are going to make a choice. Now, in this, the first question, come to the first question. What type of conflict of interest you notice in the above case? So if that's the situation, how will you answer for this question? You should know what is conflict of interest, and you should know what types of conflict of interest, and you should know to understand what type of conflict of interest is occurring in this case. So as you know that conflict of interest, there are two types. One is the potential conflict of interest, another is the apparent conflict of interest. Okay, one is potential and another is apparent. Right? So in this above case, there is a conflict of interest which will happen in the near future. There is no conflict of interest which is noticed, which is happening now. Okay, so going to happen in the future, right? So first you have to understand that what is that apparent conflict of interest which is going to happen in the near future. Okay, so yes, students, are you hearing me well? Are you able to hear? If there is any problem in the audio, please let me know. Yes. Right? Please let me know now only so that I can correct. Huh? So first, you should know the meaning of apparent and potential. Apparent is the real conflict of interest which is happening at that moment. At that moment, suppose you are falling into the conflict of interest situation. That is apparent conflict of interest. And we all know that. What is potential conflict of interest? That's why the name itself says it's a potential, that when you make a judgment, there is a mere possibility that, there is a possibility that in the near future, you may enter into a conflict of interest situation. That judgment will make you to enter into a conflict of interest situation. You know that you would have already studied in your theory part, you would have studied it. Come to the case. Now the case, there are two conflict of interest possible to happen. What are that? Both are the potential conflict of interest only. As you can see that first thing is, first you have to write like this, the answers. The first conflict of interest situation which can be noticed in this case. Let me see if there is a free space, I'll write. The first conflict of interest situation is meeting that the factory owner, no, you can mention like that, factory owner meeting at home. So it's a casual talk, right? Meeting at home. And if you try to engage this, if you try to appreciate this, and if you accept that, okay, fine, it's not a problem, I'll just talk, engage the official on the home, okay, there is a mere possibility that there is a possibility that the person might think that you are more like the way you are trying to accept his proposal, okay, because like when you meet a person at home, home is not a place to conduct official duties. So if that's the situation, he may have a false hope that if I meet again, if I come one more time, he may accept my demand. Okay, so that's a kind of situation which can be considered as again a conflict of interest which may happen. Second situation is that money which is given by, which is left by this person. So if that also can lead to a potential conflict of interest. It is not in the case study that the person has accepted the money, he's seeing the money, that's it. So maybe after that he may fall into the trap that he may accept the bribe, he may favor the person. Okay, there is a possibility of potential conflict of interest which may happen in the future. Okay, so this way I can say there is a possibility of the conflict of interest which may occur in the future. And now there is no actual conflict of interest at this situation. Okay, there is no actual conflict of interest. And one more thing which you can also write is, suppose, this can also be written as a potential conflict of interest. Suppose you are accept demand formally, let us hope formally only. There is one small clue which is left over, that this person is a relative of a local MLA. That's one clue left over like that. Yes. So if there is in the future, if you have accept demand, there is a possibility of taking favor from this person. So in this angle you have to analyze and then write the potential conflict of interest which may occur if this type of judgment is to be made. Then what is the possibility of occurring, right? And there is no apparent conflict of interest which is seen here. A real conflict of interest situation is not there. Come to the next question. What are the options before you and what would you do? That's the next question. So this is a very simple case study I have told you already. Similarly, the options you can give as simple as possible. First option, what you can write, you can make a table or anything. So you can just write the merits and demerits also. When you are analyzing that options, you can write the merits and demerits. Okay, so merits are positives and negatives. Anyway, you can write positives, negatives, merits, demerits. So first you can write first you can write that call the businessman or call the person, okay, the industrialist, return the money to him. Okay, just return the money and record everything. Okay, keep record. You have to call either your personal secretary and then written in front of him like this you have to do. Okay, so or it should be recorded. What you're doing, it should be recorded. Positive is that in this way you will not fall into the trap. That is, you will not take the bribe and you will not get involved in corruption. Okay, and at the same time your conscience will be clear. You are right, you have had a right choice, you have stood by legal standing. Okay, so you have taken the right action and you have stuck to the principles of integrity, honesty, all these positive things which will come, and this will increase the respect on you from the people's perspective. Like this, you can write some one or two positives is enough. Negatives that maybe, since there is a link between the businessman and the local MLA who is his relative, the possibility might be some threats you might face. Okay, so like warning calls or threats you might definitely face, or again and again pressure might fall on you in order to apply to the request of the person. So this is a negative because you are returning the money back, so next will be this only, right? And you definitely you will not have a peaceful journey ahead, right? So until unless this core is set, there will be a lot of disturbances through pressures. Second section which you can mention is that ask him to come through formal proceedings or formal route. Okay, so formal proceedings. Formally, whatever he has to do, he can go submit his documents in the office, and then after the merit, we will analyze it, and then we will allot, or we will try to open your factory if there is any possibility. This way, if you're giving an option to him. So the positives of these options can be that you are very clear in your actions. Okay, so you are acting as per the rules and laws. This is how you have to do. Okay, and this will bring merit. So, and as well as your inner conscience is also free of guilt. Negatives, as negatives is that the negatives compared to the first is less, because the first even in the first you're not saying that I'm going to refuse it. You're not saying I'm refusing your proposal. You just said that I doesn't want money to be bribed. Okay, that's the first option. Or what you can do, you can put first option as refusing the proposal of the person. That can also be written as the first option. So positive will be, it's not a merit-based decision, since you are doing it due to emotional conditions, because you felt that your own personal space is threatened and your dignity is devastated because this person has misinformation that are misunderstood about you and trying to bribe you. Okay, so you are taking decision in the angry mode, so you're just refusing. So positives can be very less. That's, it's not a merit based decision. That's it. Negatives negatives is that this person, this may sorry, positive, I have told the negative here. So you are refusing that, and the positive is that positive is very less, but negative is it is not a merit based decision. Okay, so then you can write about the second option, ask him to come formally and also call and return the money to him. Okay, the positive is that you can club this as one point also. Positives is that this is a merit based decision because you are going to do everything in a formal structure. So your conscience is very clear now, right? But what will be the negative? Negative is then again you may face the pressure from the political side. Okay, so this way our threats, indirect threats may happen. So option 3, the third option, you can record this you can record everything and you can file a corruption case against the person. That will be the option 3. That is the extreme case, corruption case. Positive is that there is nothing wrong. He's tried to bribe you. Okay, so the positive is it's a right decision only. Then he will have a fear. You are instilling fear on him that and any other person. So may spread out. Nobody will try to approach you to bribe you regarding certain need, certain demand. They will not ready to bribe you. So that's a positive. But what will be the negative? This is the most extreme decision to be made. Okay, so at least we can give a chance for a person to correct his mistake. That is not happening here in the case of third option. So the first option is really ruled out. It's an aggressive mode because of emotional distress. You are making a choice. The third option, because of the extreme action, extreme adherence to rules. That is the third option. So that's a negative. And the emotional distress is a negative of the first point. And this extreme adherence to rules and regulations without giving a space for a person to correct his mistake is a negative of the third point. Then comes the second point where we can club this two also and write it as this may be a better choice, because in this case we are also returning the money. That means we are falling into the conflict of interest situation. At the same time, we are asking him to come in the formal way, okay, by submitting the proposal, and that in that manner, in the official space, you may decide whether to give or to not to give. You and your team will do that. Okay, so that's the best option you can choose for this particular question. So this is about this much is enough for the first question, right? Just come to the second question. Just give me 1 minute, please. Be back. Sorry. You are the administrative head in the ABC Chocolates Private Limited, where the brand is well known for its bar chocolates throughout the country, and people are also very fond of it. Very recently, an incident has occurred where 4 bar chocolates from that brand were found to be infested with worms when the customer purchased it from a local retail shop. Okay, the news started to spread quick in the media, where even videos featuring worms crawling over the bar was also released, which started attract negative comments from all over the country, and the brand image started to tarnish completely. Even the concerned FDA quickly seized the chocolate stock at ABC's closed manufacturing plant from where it got supplied to the retail shop. The company's management was put at a tight spot, but in the press release, the board asked you to deliver a statement claiming that the infestation was not possible at the manufacturing stage. At the manufacturing stage. Are you followed? As you followed the steps, the company was further put in a tough position, prompting a tussle between the two. FDA disagreed with the company's message. The media jumped on just writing chocolate. ABC, and the brand was under widespread assault. Okay, so this is a real case which has happened. From that, this case is made. So now we are going to see this is the case. This is a case, and then what questions is asked? Is business ethics mandatory, and why? That's the first question. Is business ethics mandatory? Why? What ethical principles should be followed by a company towards its customer such that incidents which affects its brand image will not happen? What opinion would you give to solve the above issue? Okay, so there are 3 questions. Yes, there are 3 questions, and now we'll come back to the case study. See this, you are the administration head, that is administrative head in the AB chocolates, okay? So it's a company. So you are an administrative head of that company, where the brand is well known for the bar chocolates throughout the country. There is one such thing is making of bar chocolate. The company is making a bar chocolate and it's very popular among the people. And very recently, an incident has occurred where 4 bar chocolates from that brand were to be infested with worms when the customer purchased it from a local retail shop. So this is the situation which is happening. The news started to spread quickly in the media because the popular brand which is making this bar chocolate, especially it's a we can say that it's a very popular chocolate in the brand, and this is infested with the worm. Okay, so that's the problem. And the news started to spread quickly in the media when even videos featuring worm crawling over the bar was also released. It started attracting negative comments from all over the country, and the brand image started to tarnish completely. Okay, so even the concerned FDA quickly seized the chocolate stocks at the ABC's closest manufacturing plant from where it got supplied to the retail shop. So the company's management was put at a tight spot, but in the press release, the board asked you to deliver a statement claiming that the infestation was not possible at the manufacturing stage. So this is the complete story. And then what happened? You also followed as they said, but now even FDA did not agree it. There was a tussle between both of them. So the media also jumped on the ABC and the brand was completely tarnished because of this. So the situation is like this. So there is a worm and the worm was found and this was made as a video and this spread throughout the country and this made a negative impact on the people, and people started to believe that this brand is not good. Okay, so that type of the brand image got completely destroyed, we can say. And even FDA has come because they know that there is something wrong, so they went and seized the stock from the manufacturing unit. And then after this is happening, the ABC chocolate has released a press statement that there is nothing wrong in the manufacturing unit. Okay, so this infestation is not from our side. That's how they released it, but the FDA did not agree to it. So there was a misunderstanding between both of them, and then media also started tarnishing this brand. Okay, so this is the core case. So first question is business ethics mandatory, and why you think it is mandatory? And we all know what is business ethics. We have already discussed in the question answer session, and maybe in your classes you have definitely studied about business ethics. So we need not explain what is business ethics. In this case, you can say yes, business ethics is very much mandatory. So before even starting this answer for this question, you can also give a small introduction for this question in such a way that the case is about the way a company has to behave to the way a company has to conduct its business in such a way that what type of behavior it should exhibit towards the citizens, that is customers, in such a way that its brand image has to be protected. Okay, so this case is about that only. Case was discussing all these events related to that, incidents related to that. So yes, then you can continue along with that. Yes, business ethics is mandatory. It's must in conducting a business. Why it is mandatory? That only we are going to explain here. Why we are thinking business ethics is mandatory? Because uh, business ethics is a skill, is an essential skill, I can say. That's how the first you can write the write 3-4 statement and explain it. That's it. Why it is mandatory? So first point you can also write business. It's a public activity. Business is a public activity, and if there is a public activity, then there should be a ethical principles to be followed. And business is involving human beings. So when human beings comes into the picture, there should be ethical principles to be followed in it. Okay, so business generate profit, and when something is trying to generate profit, it has to be in the right way. So it should follow moral principles. Okay, so for all these reasons, you can say that business ethics is essential and it is mandatory for the business. So you can also write few more points like business ethics is an essential skill. Why we are saying it as an essential skill? Why we are saying business ethics is an essential skill? Because you know that all companies now they are introducing ethics as part of their program. So business ethics, because if you see technology and digital communications has made it's very easy to identify anything which happens inside the company. They are publicizing it very easily, very fastly. It's spreading, as we have seen that in this case also. The worm in the trade was found out and spread very easily to the citizens, to the public. So in order to avoid this kind of situations, the negative implications, as such we have seen in in the case itself, company has to definitely try to bring the ethical principles in its process in conducting business. Okay, so that means it has to uphold certain moral principles in such a way that the management, starting from the management, the company itself, okay, that is the company itself, we can say, and its employees should uphold certain principles at the workplace in such a way that it will try to increase the brand's image among the customers and help to increase the customer base. Okay, so when this kind of message gets out that the company is very much honest and integrity, showing integrity principles towards the customers, they're true to their customers. If this gets out, then what happens, the image of that brand will go up easily. So they give quality products and they're true to it. Whatever they give, whatever they describe, they or claim or mention in the product, they are following it. So if this is, that's why we are saying business ethics is an essential skill. It has become an essential skill in running a business. Okay, second thing which we can mention is that it will definitely drive the employee behavior. Why we are saying it's drive the employee behavior? Because there are ethical principles which are imbibed inside a business model, and if the employee believes that the ethical principles are upholded in this organization and there is a strong ethical culture which is prevailing in the organization, that will improve the work culture. Automatically that will improve the work culture. So they are very much prepared that prepared to handle any types of ethical issues which may happen in the company, because employees are also part of it. They know that company is completely zero towards unethical behavior. Okay, so they will not tolerate any ethical act which happens in the company. This gives a warning signal also to the employee. At the same time, it gives an example. It sets an example or acts an exemplar to the employee itself, because employees are the face of the company. They reflect the company as such to the customers. So once the employee believes that company cannot tolerate any unethical behavior, they themselves will not involve in any kind of unethical act. At the same time, this spreads out because it motivates the employees. Employees get motivated of this kind of structure and structure, displayed by the company, and this motivates the employees to also perform their functions with integrity. So in this way, this work culture gets out and then it spreads to the customers also. So they know that the company manages its employees very well. They favor the employees in a proper way. So this kind of message, if it gets out, because employees are definitely an important part of the company, this will increase the brand image in towards the customer base. It benefits the bottom line. Business ethics benefits the bottom line. What is bottom line? Profit generation. That is something called as bottom line, because every business is there to generate profit only. They are not running for charity, they are running for profit. So if that is the case, how ethics is going to help to generate profit? That's the question. Still now, in the previous and all, we are saying the same thing, that it is going to, affect the employees' performance also. Employees' reflection will be there in the society which is the customer, where the customers are there. So then this spreads and that increases the brand image. So it's that brand image we are saying no. So when brand image gets increased, elevated, what will happen? Why we are saying the brand image gets elevated or brand image gets enhanced, or it increases? Why we are saying it? What is the result of it? Once the brand image is spread out in a faster manner, in a positive direction, not in a negative direction, like the case the now we are discussing. So if it is going in the positive angle to the people, people may feel contented, satisfied, and happy to purchase that particular product from that particular brand. Okay, so that means most of us are always using social validation concept during purchase. Social validation, likability principles or credibility principles. Credible sources means, in this case, the employees who are working inside the organization, they themselves, when they're trying to spread the message outside, and gets out that this company is very much truthful to the employees itself and as well as to the customers also. And if this will increase the brand image to the customer trusts that brand. So credible source here. Social validation, many people are buying that and giving a review, it's the best. So now the brand image spreads out, so that will increase the profit of the company, because customer base gets widened when it spreads. When all this information spreads, the customer base starts increasing and starts growing, and this increases the increases the customer base and increases the profit. Okay, so that's why I'm saying business ethics is increasing profitability. Now, public perception can also be given as a point. That's why I told, the way the people think about the company will increase, because here the employees who are a part of a company, who's also reflecting good about the company they themselves are involving in some responsible activities. That's also a part of ethics only, corporate social responsibility. So this completely turn the way people try to see the brand, see the companies. Okay, that's how it happened in various organizations or various companies which are existing in our country, who are doing philanthropic activity long before even when the CSR was made mandatory. So there is a good response from the people towards the brand. Okay, so that is very important in case of public perception. So the customer loyalty will be maintained here. Okay, in the business. And even employees perception, that already we have seen that. So employees should have an image about the company. There should be no favoritism, there should be no discrimination. Okay, employees should be treated equally, and also given good space to express their opinions like this. And now you should have every benefit from the company. So that's the how we can say that business ethics is important. Now come to the second question. What ethical principles should be followed by a company towards its customer, such that the incidents which affects its brand image will not happen? Okay, so in the future it should not happen. Any company you take, what type of ethical principles they have to follow so that the brand image is maintained? Okay, what type of ethical principles they have to follow? Anything you can say, starting from trustworthiness, building trust between the people, that is the customer and the company. How can you build the trust? For this question you can say yes, building the trust. So how will you build the trust? By adhering to certain ethical principles like integrity, honesty, etc. How integrity? You may ask this question, how integrity? Because a company or a brand, okay, which is trying to stick to the words, that is, stick to what it is describing about its product. You are describing one thing and you are giving one thing to the people. For example, you are saying that you use my product, within a week you will turn from two complexions, you will get in, they will get increase two complexions, you know? So that will be increase in two complexions. You will change fair. Dark skin tone you have, you will become fair. If it is so, then if there is one such medicine, there will be no dark skinned people at all. Not everyone are are liking to be a dark skinned people and all. Even they may like to become a fair person. Even a fair person may like to become a dark skinned person. It depends on their way of art, because beauty varies from each people's perception. Beauty is in every person's eyes. For me, black skinned people may look very beautiful. Okay, for some other medium or wheatish skin people may look beautiful. So that it varies from person to person. It's not that there is no such kind of thing that only this kind of complexion is beautiful. We can say like that. And if so, you are able to turn one complexion to another complexion, then you are a god. You are a person at all. You are not a humankind. So then the entire world will turn towards you. Those who want to become dark come to you. Those who want to become fair will come to you. So no such cases going to happen like that. There is no possibility like that, but you are claiming to be. So that is what we say, the intent is lacking, and people also fond of becoming the different. Always, it's greener the side. So when you are dark skin, you want to become a fair skin, and when you are very fair skin, you want to become a bit dark skin. This is the other way around, and people always just run towards that side, that I want to become fair. I want to get turned fair. And but where goes your honesty and where goes your integrity in opening at, yes, my my particular product from this brand is going to make you fairer. There is no way. Making you taller. Drink this, you become tall like a tree. Even one of friend was drinking that since she's since the birth until she completes the college. She is very short. There is nothing related to product you consume and about your height. Okay, so that's thing called as the honesty and integrity principle, which is very important for your brand image. So it will definitely spoil the brand. Compliance to the laws, rules and regulations, that is also another important principle you have to have, so that it will project the brand in a proper way, in a sorry, it gives a good image about the brand to the people. So because the company or the organization is complying to the rules and regulations, so if it is complying to the rules and regulations which is made to regulate them, then definitely they will be a honest person only. They will be a truthful people only. So it is good that we trust the brand and we purchase the product. Same way, even fairness we can say. Okay, all this you can try to connect and write in such a way that how you are treating your employees. So in that way, the employees acknowledges the company, and this way it is trying to improve the image. Okay, so then you can also write social consciousness. Social consciousness is something like where you're conscious about your actions on the society, right? And especially consumers are more attracted towards those companies which are very much conscious about the social issues which is happening around them and who are responsible towards those issues. So if at least if you're not able to be responsible, you should be conscious about the business practices which you perform. Okay, if you're conscious and aware that what you're doing and what this particular product will do to the society, how to think. So then what you can do, following fair trade practices. So working how you can become a social conscious business, following fair trade, working with business partners and suppliers, paying wages to your employees. So like this, it goes on. So all these are something where like you can bring social consciousness. Then come to the next question. As you can see this, what opinion you would give to solve the above case? Now, the case you have already saw. So this way only in last 3, 4 and all you'll get questions like this. What opinion you give to solve the case, or how would you react at this situation? Okay, this type of question will be asked to you. In that case, how will you react to this particular situation? Already we know what is the situation. So now what opinion you are going to give for it? So ABC, what they have to do, they have to immediately take off the advertisement which is spreading in the media, the worm crawling and all, and they have to launch an educational project. Okay, public relation project they have to launch immediately, targeting the retailers, especially one who is going to sell their product. This is first step they have to take. Second, they have to keep the media updated about what they are doing, because already their image has been tarnished. So they have to keep the media updated through regular press releases, like how they made previously. Same way, regular press release has to be made, but about the advancement they are doing. Since that there is a case that worm has been noticed, so what and all we can do to rectify this? So through press releases, you have to frequently give attention to the people that this company is taking action towards that particular incident. To correct its manufacturing and storage processes, it is putting its best effort. Okay, and then third important instruction to be followed is they can import new machinery, because people may, even though you say, see, we are taking some actions to correct this, may be in the feeling that, oh, what big actions they are going to take? Same product is going to come in the market. Same after it, we eat, maybe that we eat a worm. Mistakenly, we may eat, swallow a worm also. So that it is already, a decided product. Okay, already it is losing its life cycle, right? That's why worms are appearing in it, infected one. So this type of opinion may prevail. So what you can do, it's best to import a new machinery itself. That is also to be made to be aware to the people, and then you have to completely change the package. What package you are using for the product, you should completely change it. Okay, so in such a way that it will it's a mental, it's a psychology. Okay, it's something people think, okay, now a new thing has come, it's the old one. Okay, so old one is infected, but this is a good one. They've got all the problems in it, and spend more amount of money for advertising the brand. Already image got completely tarnished, no, devastated. So you have to increase the brand image. How will you do it? By giving more advertise. So if advertisement is going in an aggressive manner, what happens? The company's relationship with the media will also be in a good, because they are paying money for advertisements. So definitely the relationship with the media will be good. Media will also start support the company, because in the case of notice, media is against the company. So while advertising, you can bring some influential personality, some persons. Even you can use scarcity principle, where some source they give very limited public appearances. Those of people can be approached, one who are in the film field or one who are in the sports field, so that when these people are on the screen, then the usual one who always comes for all advertisements, one who is very best and one who comes very rarely, you have to pay a lot of money for him to appear. And even you have to persuade him, first of all, to make him accept that. So if it is possible that you have to bring, and that scarcity principle will work very well. So in such a case, that what will happen, definitely people's mentality will totally change. That, oh, he is telling, oh, this person is telling, then fine, then it might be right only, this might be great only. So the company has changed everything, and now it is releasing a new product, and is not the old one which is completely get infected one. Okay, so these are the steps you can follow in order to rectify the problem which has happened in your company. Over. Now we'll move to the next question. This Fang Hua has recently arrived to work as a postdoctoral uh, researcher in India. She studied English for many years as part of her schooling in her home country. But she had little real world experience in conversing and writing English. But Fang Hua is a very talented scientist in her field and quickly found a position in a research group, largely consisting of her country's researchers, and with Professor Muchen. During her first year of work, Fang Hua was extraordinarily lucky to have made an interesting finding, and Professor Muchen encouraged her to write the work up for publication in the journal Science. Fang Hua struggled to write the paper in English, but soon found that with the help of the internet, she could easily find phrases written well in English to express concepts that she was not sure of. Professor Muchen lightly edited the paper written by Fang Hua. They submitted it to Science and it was accepted for publication. 6 months later, one of Muchen's colleagues was looking at the website and discovered that Fang Hua's paper received a very high score for using text duplicated from other papers. Professor Muchen took the concern of possible plagiarism to the research integrity officer at his institution. The RIO, that is Research Integrity Officer, appointed a committee to determine Fang Hua should be found guilty of plagiarism, an example of research misconduct. So you are also a member of that committee and also a good friend of Fang Hua and know that she is a talented scientist. And I have been asked to decide whether frequent use of phrases from other papers is plagiarism and if doing so should result in sanctions or penalties. Okay, so this is the situation. It's related to plagiarism and we all know that it's a serious offense, especially in country like India and all. Even imprisonment may result. Okay, definitely penalty. Sanctions might also happen. So this case is about person who has come from a different country, entering into our country, want to do a postdoctoral research. Okay, so she joins with a team of scientists. She's a scientist herself. She is very good in her field. But when she is publishing something, when she's trying to write something, submit a thesis paper, she doesn't know how to produce it. She doesn't know how to write in English because she is very poor in the language. So she tried to manage it by referring the internet. Okay, and then she tried to express her work, right, and submitted to the team, to the professor. Okay, and the professor also helped her a bit, that after submission he altered a bit and then he referred it to the journal and it was accepted for publication. And after publication they found out, one of the professor's colleague found out that Fang Hua's paper is carrying plagiarism because she has checked out internet site, okay, and copied a lot of phrases from it. So now this was raised to the Professor Muchen. The issue was raised to Professor Muchen, and Professor Muchen also took this issue to the RIO, that is Research Integrity Officer. And now a committee has been appointed, and in that committee there were members. You are also a member of that committee. Now this is the situation. You are a friend of Fang Hua itself. You also know how she is. So now they are going to decide whether this is a plagiarism and what action should be taken. Okay, in that case we are going to analyze. But what are the questions which follows this case? Is plagiarism in research an unethical practice? And then the question which follows it is whether frequent use of phrases from other papers is plagiarism. Second question, if the chairman of the committee asks your opinion regarding the issue, what would you reply? What steps do you suggest to avoid plagiarism in research works? There are three questions. First question is saying that is plagiarism in research and unethical practice. Whether frequent use of phrases from other papers is plagiarism. Okay, that's the first question. That case, you have to say yes, plagiarism is definitely an unethical practice only, because you are trying to use the words, you are going to steal the ideas, the words, everything, the words also, the written which is expressed in the paper is also the idea of another person. You're stealing it. Words are ideas. Okay, either you're doing intentionally or you are doing accidentally, you doesn't know it. So you're taking it from another researcher only. You're taking it from, stealing it from, it's a case I can say you're stealing. It's like a theft only. Okay, so you're stealing it from another researcher without proper accept from that person, acknowledgement. Okay, so this is considered a serious unethical issue, and it's an offense. In most case, it's an offense, I can say. So this will result in definitely in a negative consequences. As there is negative result. What are the negative result you will get because of this? You will have paper retraction sometimes. That means the people will start questioning about the validity of the paper, validity of your work. Okay, so that is a serious issue you will face, and then you have to put extra more time and more effort again to produce a work. Okay, then also the credibility will be lost. So definitely they will think that you are a person who steals. So this is an idea you have stole from somewhere. Okay, even though the idea is yours, only the representation is someone's. Okay, but still they feel that, so your credibility is completely spoiled and your reputation is affected. Apart from that, you will face see charges of plagiarism. Okay, so that is the answer for first question. Yes, then even the plagiarism is an unethical practice. Yes, you should answer like that. And frequent use of phrases from one other papers is plagiarism. Yes, it's a form of plagiarism. Okay, so that you're copying out the phrases, not the idea, but phrases. And you are explaining why it is unethical for three reasons. Mainly three reasons are there why you're saying that plagiarism is unethical, because it's a form of theft that we have already discussed. You're stealing the ideas, expressions, words of a person, okay, and pretending as if it is your own. So that's something which is, it's a form of. Secondly, the plagiarizer subsequently benefits from this theft, so that's why it is unethical. So one person is getting benefit. Thirdly, I can say a degree is evidence of its holder's ability and knowledge. If a student gains employment on the basis of qualification they have not earned, they may be a risk to others. That's something is also an unethical thing. We can say that because this person is qualified enough to write a paper of such kind, and if you get an appreciation because of yours, some paper which is not recognized, the original work of a a scientist, a fellow scientist is recognized. The reason is that you have stolen and you have produced a best work. So that's something called as plagiarism. Is so these are some of the unethical, you know, reasons you can say for why you're calling a plagiarism as an unethical issue. Come to the second question. If the chairman of the committee asks your opinion regarding the issue, what would you reply? So here you have to say, yes, I definitely know that plagiarism is wrong. It's no doubt that the student has cheated. The means the colleague has cheated, but definitely deliberately you know that there is some hard work she has put from her side. Okay, the work is hers. Only the expression of the work is not hers. That you know very well from the angle, because you have already have spoken to her a lot of times, you friend of her, so you know better about her, so you can express your opinion very frankly that yes sir, agreed that definitely this is a kind of plagiarism only. But we also know that she would have not copied work from any people. Only the expression of work is copied, but still then it is a plagiarism. She cannot, escape this, escape the punishment which she has to face because she has committed an offense. So you have to say both the things. You have to say good things about her, at the same time you have to tell the reason. Yes, it is definitely a plagiarism only, so you cannot escape the punishment. So in this case you can say she did not do it intentionally, she has done it unintentionally, right? So that way you have to give your opinion, right? So this definitely action has to be taken for committing plagiarism. Then come to the next question. See the last question in the, what steps do you suggest to avoid plagiarism in research works? So if you want to avoid plagiarism in the future, what and all you have to follow? So in that case, I can say that steps to avoid plagiarism. First thing, you have to keep track of the sources you consult in your research, because when you're doing research, when you're doing R&D and you're going to submit your paper, you will definitely keep in with various sources. Okay, so when you are trying to take some information from the source, you have to definitely cite it. Okay, so you should not say that, you should not say as your own work. There should be some citations that this particular statement, this particular opinion is taken from this particular author's book, author's paper. So in this way you have to definitely cite these things, so that you have to keep the track of sources for that purpose. So then you have to properly label it, right? The citation should be present in the form of label, as in the form of notes. Okay, so second thing is paraphrasing or quoting from the sources. Paraphrasing is something you revise the concept and write it as your own. That means you're studying a concept about a person, about the concept written about written by another person, that is another source, we can say. You are just studying that para, you are studying that concept, you are understanding it and producing it in your own language. That is something called as paraphrasing. Okay, so that should be done, and it should be done in the proper way. Instead of that, some people, what they used to do, they will take this entire paragraph as such, they will replace the words. That is not paraphrasing. Is you have to read, you have to understand the meaning, you have to reproduce in your own words. Okay, so that's something called as paraphrasing. So you can do paraphrasing. First is you can keep of the source and label a citation. Second is paraphrasing. Third is crediting the original author in and in text citation and your reference list. So when you are giving a reference list, these and all the articles you can refer. So you can definitely, when you have taken some information from another source, in either in the footnote or in the back, you can give the reference. So these are some of the books where you can get this information. You can refer it. This particular person has also talked about it. So this way you are acknowledging source. Okay, previously you did not do it. You just written it as if your own work. But here you are trying to acknowledge that it is the information which I have taken from the so and so's book, so and so's ideas. So that way you are acknowledging the person. Third step, fourth step which you can follow is plagiarism checker. You can use plagiarism checker. You're submitting your paper, you can use plagiarism checker. So what it will do, so this plagiarism checker, they will scan the document, then it will compare it with the web pages and publications, because if you have taken something as such, the statement, it will take you there. So that it may highlight the other similar text which appears in your paper and in another source. So you have to take this plagiarism checker, you have to conduct after completing your paper, so that it will take notice of the misplaced citations or forgotten citations at some places, even the quotation marks. Because if you are if you're taking if you're trying to bring a reference list, then you have to write inside the quotation and you have to give a reference for that. Okay, this particular statement has been taken from this particular source. Okay, then paraphrased material that's too similar to the original text will also be highlighted and should be completely changed and revised. Okay, so this way you can say that plagiarism checker is a last option in case of avoiding the plagiarism. Okay, in the work. So this is also a very small case study only, but it's related to an ethical issue called plagiarism. Now we'll move to the last case study. So see this, you are appointed as a village administrative officer. You are a candid and virtuous person. You come to know about the child marriage. You come to know about that child marriage is one of the widely prevalent social practices among the village people. After a month of your posting, you got news about the marriage of a minor girl in the village. Your colleagues advised you that it is a long-standing practice in this place, and if we report the case to, there is no use because the villagers will join together to protect their and kin, and ask you to just neglect the news and proceed with your other works. Further, they also warned that if we are doing something against their practices, the villagers may turn furious, disturb our work. Okay. Choose. Now there are two questions. As you can see, choose your option from the choices given below and give reasons why you are choosing it. Second question is, as a responsible village officer, you don't want these types of incidents to reoccur again in your village and want to set up your village as an example. So what measures do you suggest to stop menace like this? Okay, so these are the two questions. Come back to the case. It's also a very small case only. You are posted as a village VAO in a village. Okay, now you are very virtuous person. You follow virtuous values in your life. You come to know about the child marriage, which is a widely prevalent social evil, you can say, a social practice among the villagers. After a month of your posting, then you got a news about a child marriage, a minor girl marriage in the village. Now you want to stop this, but what your colleagues are telling you, that it's a long standing practice, so you should not disturb this because people may become furious if you're disturbing it. People long time back, they are doing this. They're marrying the girls at a very young age. So even go and try to stop that, the villages will join together and they will protect the kids and kins. And they will ask you to neglect the news. Okay, so just avoid the news. There's something rumors which is spreading. So that's why the people will behave like that, and that's why the colleagues have said that you just avoid the news, proceed with your work. You have a lot of work in the office, you do that. Don't concentrate on these things. They also want that if you are doing something against them, against the villagers, then you may attract their attention. They may become furious towards you and they will definitely disturb your work. They will not allow you to work peacefully. This is what given in this case. Come to the first question. The first question is saying choose your option from the choices given below and give reasons. So now they are giving three choices. The first choice is just ignore the news and continue with your work. Second choice is leak out the information to local police station. Third choice, involve welfare and police officials, social activists and media by giving information. So now we are going to see one by one. First option. So now after discussing each and every option, then you have to choose one option and then you have to explain it, why you are choosing this option. First, see the first option. Just ignore the news and continue with your work. So this mostly the most of his colleagues is doing that only because several times these kind of incidents has been reported, and when officials approach the site, go to the location, people are completely joined together and helping each other in such a way that the officers are not able to catch them red-handed. So it's waste of time and effort. That's so same way after taking the opinion, you can just say I will ignore the news and continue with the work. But it's not the right choice. It's not the responsible choice you are making. Okay, on your duty as a public official. When you come to hear these types of news related to child marriages and all, definitely you have to inform the police officials and ask them to take an action so that they approach the site and action has to be taken. So the first option is not the reliable option. It's not the right option to be chosen. Second, because it's something like we are omitting your duty. Okay, it's an act of omission. So this also will be a form of corruption only. Even though you're not involving directly in the corrupt activities like taking money from the people to give service to them or doing a taking money is a form of corruption. There is bribe or doing favoritism to somebody. It's a form of corruption. At the same time, if you are trying to overlook your responsibility, that is also a form of corruption. Okay, so that's, you can say, just ignore the news and continue with work will not do. This is not the right option to choose. Come out to the second option, leak out the information to local police station. Okay, it is right. You just go, just inform the police officials and then you say, okay, my job is done here. I'm happy now. The police take action. So already we know that every time this is how it is happening. They are releasing the information to the police officials. When police officials reaches the place, people will definitely will act in such a way that there is nothing happening. There is no such thing going on. Okay, so it's just a small function in our house. So that's why we all are together, and there is no marriage function, and like that they are to act in front of the police officials. They are escaping from them. Then immediately after they leave this place, they are trying to complete the marriage. Involve welfare and police officials, social activists, media, so that more stakeholders participation, more possibility of putting an end to this kind of social practice. Instead of only a public official and a welfare instead of only a police official approaching the scene, and trying to stop them, not involved in these kind of social practices, people will never hear. So that's why we can say this option is not a viable option because it's totally irresponsible action. This option, though it's okay to do in the same time, because police officials are the one who has to go and stop this kind of problems if it happens in the society. But still, it is not going to be a successful option. So that's why we are saying that we are involving more stakeholders in this. Okay, the social activity can be brought, media can be brought inside, police officials, welfare officials, Anganwadi center workers, ICDS officials, you, everyone can go, try to stop and keep a watch about what is happening. After the police official has left the place, has left the scene, if they're saying no such incident is taking place, there should be some people who keeps watching what is going on there. Okay, so that's you're explaining. You have to explain why you are choosing option C. Then you have to say this is the reason that I am thinking that more stakeholder participation in trying to stop this kind of social practices, the more will be the possibility of stopping this kind of issue to be happen in the future. Okay, so that way you have to give answer for the first question of this case study. Come to the second question. Responsible village officer, you don't want these types of incidents to reoccur again in your village and want to set up your village as an example. So what measures do you suggest to stop menace like this? That means They are asking about long-term measures. So now we are going to discuss long-term measures one by one. As you can see that keeping vigil. That's the first one I want to introduce to you. So keeping vigil means you are trying to spy on the people because you know that this kind of activities is keep on continuously happening in the society. So you have to keep a check about it. For this, people has to be employed, volunteers has to be employed in such a way that when something is going suspicious, you should approach the site as fast as possible and try to stop this kind of social evils which is happening. Awareness generation. As I said, awareness generation is very important task to be conducted. You are generating awareness to the people that girl children married at a very young age, what and all the physical problems they are going to face, what are the mental problems they are going to face. Okay, so of bearing a family because she is very young. This kind of awareness to be generated, and people should be made known about the schemes which supports the girl children. Central sector schemes like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Suganya Samriddhi Yojana, Ladli scheme of Haryana. Sorry. So like this, you can keep on add certain schemes which is trying to even the Dhanlakshmi schemes, just the cash incentive schemes we are saying no cash money will be deposited in your account. So if that girl is not married as a minor and she continues her studies, so for that cash benefit will be given. Okay, so this way you can say the awareness generation has to be created among the people. Then gender sensitization program. Gender sensitization. How will you do that? You're creating gender sensitivity. So programs like the Saksham, which we have already discussed, I hope you remember. So arts and boys education program. So in that we are trying to sensitize about the gender mainstreaming, like how all have to be treated equally. There should be no discrimination between a male and a female. So how why we have to why boys are allowed to study but girls are not allowed to study, and at a very young age they are married and they are trying to bear children at a very young age. So all sort of complications will result to them. So gender sensitization programs be taken. Laws to be strengthened. Laws. What type of laws you're going to strengthen? You're going to strengthen laws such as Child Marriage Prohibition Act, then Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, Juvenile Justice Act. All this has to be strengthened in order to stop some social evils like this to happen in the future. Loopholes should be found out. It has to be made more severe, more stringent. Then I can say capacity building. Capacity building, why we are talking about capacity building? As this kind of issues, when it is happening, the call will be first given to the local police station, where the issue will be reported to the station house officer, SHO. We call them as SHO. The SHO is the person who has to handle this case. That person has to be given capacity building, that he has to he should be able, he or she should be able to handle the case. How will they be able to talk to the people and handle, because it's a sensitive issue. So capacity building is a must. And even people should be given capacity building programs, that if this kind of issue is going to happen in your society, in your place, how you have to behave, how you have to respond immediately to the concerned officials, so that this can be stopped immediately. Special police cells, constructing special police cells. like the child friendly policing. So because you know what is the problem when a child is under threat, at least the minor girl whose friends will be very much eager to inform this to the concerned official to stop this marriage, because they are very much fearful that what will happen to my friend if she is going to get married at a very young age. So now if the children are approaching the station to file a complaint or to report about this, they have to be treated in a proper way. The children already they are in a panic mode, they are fear mode, and most of all the adults even are not able to talk in a proper way to a police officer because of the behavior they exhibit to the public. And then what will happen to a child, how a child will interact with the police official and file a complaint against all these things to them. That case child friendly policing is very important, and you have to have special cells constructed for that to handle these kind of issues. Even when a police official reaching the site, the place, they are not able to interact in a proper way to the bride, because the bride is a child, they doesn't know how to talk to them in a proper way. So that's important. So young people to be the agents of change, here you have to employ more young people, because you cannot change the traditional mentality of the grown up adults who want to make the child married at a young age. But the young youth who are there in the particular place will definitely oppose, a group of youth will definitely oppose this practice. They know it is not the right thing to do. So you can make them as a volunteer, you can bring them as a volunteer, you can employ them, so in such a way that when something suspicious is going to happen, they will report it. They will also be given capacity building program or training in such a way that they know how to what to do and how to respond back immediately. Like, sorry, how to report this, not respond, how to report about this incident. So they have to be trained in such a way. Behavior change strategy is the must. Behavior change, as we have said already, the certain schemes also I have mentioned for how we are going to change the behavior of the people. For this, apart from the programs, you can also stage plays, okay, bring dramas, street plays, and then you can make them understand, make the people understand that what are the ill effects of marrying a child at a very young age, what are the health problems she is going to face, what are the mental trauma she is going to face. All this can be publicized in front of the villagers in the form of dramas, so that they can easily understand the consequences of child marriages, everything. So that's will lead to behavior change. Then come empowering girls. Okay, leave all these victims should be first empowered. So how will you empower them? There are also a lot of schemes for girls empowerment, like starting from Sabla to safe space programs. These will help the girl children to stay strong, to be educated about the social problems which is existing around them. And financial, it gives power, it motivates them, and also make them financially independent, develop their skills. Out of school training, we can use a safe space program and all is out of school training, starting from hygiene management to financial management. Everything will be taught to a girl, and the girl's skill also will be enhanced, so that they get empowered. So if something is going to happen to them when they are asked to get married in a very young age, they will definitely stand against it. Then helplines. This is another important thing which you have to observe. Helpline numbers like 1098. Okay, so this has to be there. You have to publicize the helpline, like especially the child helpline, so that awareness is generated. And if somebody comes to know that There is a helpline. We can report this. We need not go directly to a station. We can speak through the helpline, and then that lot of people will come forward to about it. And the last thing which we can talk is about collaborative policing. Collaborative policing is something like where the police officials has to act along with the activist, journalist, as well as civil society people, organizations, and even the community themselves. So they should in that way, these types of incident, if it is going to take place, it will be reported in the faster pace, and actions can also be taken. And after post incident effect can also be, that is tracking the scene even after even after that visit, marriage is stopped. You should have track of that particular issue. If sometimes in the future they may again marry a child. Okay, so you have to keep track about that particular case. So like this, we can give certain long-term measures to stop this child marriages. So thank you all. This is our last class, and so far we have done 10 classes related to ethics and crash courses, and it's mainly based on question and answer session as well as a case study session. I hope you would all have got a lot of information through these classes. So make use of this, use it, and try to make your own answers. Be creative, be innovative. That is what it is expected from you. So but this is a guideline for you, so you can also think you can also think in a different way. So it varies from person to person, because ethics is always subjective in nature. So all the best for all of you. Have, stay healthy, stay connected. We'll meet again. Thank you. Good night.